right. All right. Thank you for joining me for another episode of the Matt Ellipsis Show. I don't think that I'm going to put this episode on Facebook. I think I'm only going to put it on YouTube and send it to a few people, because this particular video, I'm gonna think of the name so I can write it down, so I can think of the title of this episode. But this episode is a summary of my 2020 actions. The things that I have planned for 2020. This video is I'm gonna do my best in this video to try to summarize what my plans are for 2020. And kind of some of the milestones that I expect to accomplish. Okay, so as I talk about this stuff, I want to also thank my wife. She sent me a video that I'm gonna play on the show here, and I needed to do kind of like both of these things at the same time. The video, let me see what it's called. All right, the video is called "Why Most Men Are Weak in Relationships. This is learned behavior, but it doesn't make it right." Okay. And so I also want to give it. She gave me this image. Don't allow someone to treat you poorly just because you love them. So I want to play this video because when my wife passed it on to me, she knows I do talk radio and stuff like that. And I when she passed it on to me, knowing what I do, talk radio, and make all the, I'm sitting down in the basement right now. The family is sleeping, okay, peacefully, and I fell asleep on the couch, and I woke up. I saw what she sent me, took a look at the video, and I was like, man, this is fantastic. Thank you. That was the other thing I wanted to pull out. Thank you. I just remembered the other thing I wanted to pull out. Okay. I needed to play her video and then talk about what I have planned for 2020. I needed to do both, or I feel the need to do both, because I don't think that my friends and family, my covenant relationships, and my sphere of influence, I don't think many of you all know what I'm doing. And there have been a lot of things that have happened in the past. I'm 43 right now. A lot of stuff has happened, which positions everyone in my life that's close to me, that is family or whatever. It positions you guys in a weird spot, because you all have expectations of me that throughout 2020 and 2021, these expectations, you're going to find that I have decided not to live up to other people's expectations of me. I have a video in my computer. I haven't named it yet, but it's talking about my identity and the new era of broadcasting. I think I had kind of temporarily named it New Era of Broadcasting, but in that particular video, I talk a little bit about my identity and the various roles or titles that I've been given throughout my life. Oh no, here it is. This is the other video. This one is better. If you go to YouTube and type in Matt Ellipsis, I know what I've been sent to do. Right. It's the M3 dots. I realize what I've been sent to do. Okay, that's what you want to type in. That's the title of that episode of this show. That one I did put on Facebook and on YouTube. In that, you'll see that I have a list. Oh, and if you check my Twitter, if you go to my Twitter, okay, the Matt Ellipsis Twitter, at Matt Ellipsis on Twitter, you'll find a list of all the roles that I have, all the titles that I have gained throughout my life. And I have another list of titles that I intend to earn throughout the next several years of my life. The reason why that's important is because I'm going to start this, I'm about to launch into all of my notes and all the things that I want to talk about. The way I'm going to start this is that I have decided that I'm going to tell the world, and that includes my sphere of influence, and those are the people that are around me that know of me, don't know all the details. We're kind of associates, friends, coworkers, family, people that, are in my life. I know them, they know me, we see each other. That's my sphere of influence. And then I have my inner circle. Then I have my the Matt Ellipsis district, as I call it, and these are my covenant relationships where we're working on stuff. And many of my covenant relationships, they see me a little bit more accurate than than my sphere of influence. The people that are in the Matt Ellipsis district are people who we're working together on projects. For instance, Faith Jam Productions, we're in covenant together, and they are, Pastor Joseph McLean and the rest of the team members, they are concerned, and we're in covenant regarding my rap career. Okay. And my rap career is, in March, we're releasing a new album. Pastor Joseph is, coming up with the title of what the album's going to be. We're going to put together all the stuff that I've been through before in terms of putting out a project. He took some of his own money and invested in me and invested in my music, and he's about to put out this album. And according to not just him, but others, this album is really, really great. And I'm grateful to God for this. So my rap career goes to the next level, or goes to a new plateau starting in March of 2020. My radio career I've been doing podcasts and radio. Oh my God, I've been doing live radio under with the tutelage of Ken Henderson and stuff and people like that since back in 2009 or 2008 or 9 or whatever. And so my radio career is going to the next level because I started a radio station in Toma called tomaradio.com. And this is separate from my music career. Basically what's really weird about this whole thing is that my rap career has got a business plan, and that's going somewhere, right? But then my radio career, the opening day is 31 December 2019 and the 1st of January 2020. That's the grand opening of tomaradio.com. So that's the launch of that begins. And so on those 2 days, people will be able to go to all of my radio locations and peruse everything. Everything will be looking nice or whatever. I've learned the power of the soft launch and the grand opening. You do the soft launch so that it's there and you can test your website. I don't understand why people say, hey, my website is now open, and you've been working on it for a year, but you don't do a soft open. You do just a grand opening, and you never do a soft opening. You've wasted money of your website because you're working on it. It's going to take you some time. I've always worked on my website, m3das.com. I've always worked on it, but made sure that it was live, because when it's live, you can see what it looks like and make modifications based on the visitors that are showing up and based on what season you're in. A website is the same way that if you got a brick and mortar store, when you got different seasons. Let's say you got a clothing store, you got different seasons. You got to change what's on the shelves, and what's on the racks based on the season that you're in. It's the same way with your website. You've got to modify some stuff to handle whatever season that you're in. And that's what I've done with m3das.com. And it served me well. And you get the Google Analytics. So then you can tell, go into my Google Analytics, and over all these years, I can see all the where all the visitors have shown up and what page they go to. And then I'm like, okay, I'm seeing more activity on this page, so let me put this one in the front, or let me modify that. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can make some real good decisions by having it live with a soft opening, giving it a grand opening, and then do grand opening style promotions throughout the life of your business or whatever ministry, so that way it attracts eyeballs to your site, because a website now is basically nothing more than a business card, but you got to have your business card looking all good and all this other stuff. So anyway, so I've got that happening. Now the comedy career. Oh my God! Before I go to the comedy career, the Matt Ellipsis Show, me as a talk show host. That's going places. The Toma VA says, hey, Matt, let's start in January. You're going to have access to the television studio. And we want you to put out positive news for the Toma VA. No problem. The city of Toma said, hey, we want you to put out information for us because you're faster and more accurate than the newspaper in Toma. Whoa. Okay. Whoa. Now, I'm grateful to God for all of this stuff. Okay. And so I work my little job, and when I get off work, my little babies, I want to come home and see my little babies. And then I got all these little projects and stuff that were downstairs or whatever. And I'm positive that it probably frustrates my wife. And sometimes I'll just walk past dirty dishes. I walk past dirty house messed up, and I'm so sorry to my wife. I'm so sorry, because I don't I wish that all of this burgeoning stuff, I wish that all of it had, I wish that all of it happened a lot sooner, because we would now be living in the fruit of that. But I've always stunted my music career because as soon as I would really start working some stuff out, then I'd have to leave. I'd have to, whether it is getting a job at Fort McCoy and living in Chicago, and now I got to do that. Yeah, I can still work on some music and do stuff or whatever, but that's, man, whoa. Then finally get settled. I remember interacting with the Lord on on that routine of driving back and forth, and then get mobilized. So for 3 years, I'm out in California, and whoa, then when that tour was up, I'm gonna tell you something. Me and my family, we did not want to move back to the Midwest. I knew my assignment was here. I knew that I was supposed to be here, but we wanted to stay out there because California is amazing. And that's a whole story that I man. So then we moved back to the Midwest, and then living in Camp Douglas, and I've got a home in Chicago. So I'm trying to figure that out. So it was really, through all of these scenarios, I've never stopped making music, and I've never stopped trying to move my music career forward. But what ended up happening is that the music career, ended up pushing me into creating a radio career, a talk show career, making YouTube videos and, podcasting. And it's like, oh my God, all this stuff is working out. And I have all of my equipment that I'll ever need to do what I need to do. I can record anytime and anything. It's like, wow, thank you, Lord, for all the positioning. And here's the best thing. The best blessed part that I'm in, that I have, is that I own all of my stuff. Do you know how grateful I am to God that I could go to my website and every one of my albums that I've ever made, all the music that I've ever made, that is fully published. There's music that I've made that I have not published yet, but music, anything that I was ready to publish, man, it's right there. I got over 100 songs on my website from all these years, and thank God, I own everything. No one, when I sell an album, no one can say, hey, you owe me such and such. No, because I own it. Nobody did what Pastor Joseph did, put their money into my music career and push it forward. Other than my wife helping me she helped me with more than just money. She helped me with her family. My little family that I was so blessed to become a part of. Man, when I got married, one of the things I used to say to myself is, and I used to vent about this once in a while to others, is that I married my wife. When I married her, I didn't realize that I was also marrying her mother. I was also marrying her best friend. I was also marrying my sister and brother-in-law. I was marrying the whole family. I haven't, I kept in touch with my family, but my family and I, we didn't, it wasn't as close as my wife's family. Or I guess we are close, but it's just different. I grew up different from the way that my wife grew up. And so my wife has presided over an education process for me in what it means to take care of your parents as they age. I got a front row seat to that, and I'm blessed to have a perspective change on what that was. I used to be like, doggone it, I thought it was just gonna be you and me and whatever. That was my ideas of marriage. And marriage looks like whatever marriage looks like what you make out of it, what you and your spouse makes out of it. And I've maintained my desire to do music. I've maintained my desire to do what I do. And my brother-in-law, he was the greatest cameraman that I've ever had. Now I have a new cameraman, Johnny. That's what the Jibber and Jabber Productions is. I'm Jibber and my partner is Jabber. And silly name for a company, but my life right now is ridiculous. It's dumb. My life is so dumb and funny because I started doing comedy. And so it turns everything that has happened. I've been writing comedy material. It doesn't stop. I can't believe I've written so much stuff. Starting, I want to say, the first time that I really started writing some comedy material was when I was stationed in California. I started writing some stuff, and I didn't know I was going to be going into comedy or whatever. I didn't know. But I did an interview with a pastor that that I went to high school with, and he reminded me, Matt, you did comedy in high school. I was like, oh my God, you're right. I did. I was a rapper, and then for one of the variety shows, I did comedy, and I didn't realize that. I followed the rap part of it, but over time, I've accepted that the comedy part of it. Here's the challenge, though. Okay, here's the challenge. Because I want to talk. Okay, again. Here's what I'm doing in this video. Number one, I'm gonna play this video that my wife sent me. Thank you, Valerie, for sending me this video. Number two, I'm summarizing and talking about 2020. Okay, what I got planned for 2020. So the comedy career. Here is one of the challenges that I had is that in 2017 or going into 2018, at some point in 2017 going into 2018, the area community theater, I went to them to say that I want to do a comedy event. They said, let's do it. I remember my wife coming home with me after the meeting, and she said to me, Matt, you're not funny. And when she said that, it was very impactful to me because part of me because it caused me to doubt myself. Okay? And I'm a person I'm a faith person. And what I mean by faith person is I'm probably the most imperfect and dumbest person that you will ever meet. Okay? I only do about maybe 3 or 4 things really well. Okay? One of them is rap. I know that I do that very well. I would never say that I'm the greatest rapper, but according to the Veterans Affairs, hold on, let me get them, doggone it. Okay? According to the Veterans Affairs, 2018 and 2019, I am the Veterans Affairs rap champion. 2 years in a row. This is for the local level. In other words, I'm the Toma VA rap champion, right? And I've got the other one is somewhere because these I just, it's like whatever, a little bit. But, oh, I got both of them. Oh, yeah, I got both of them. Yeah. So, Toma VA rap champion. I was the only one who competed in Toma. Okay? Now, but I wasn't the only one that competed at the national level. And my wife and I, we went to Iowa in 2018. And in 2019, this year, we went to Kalamazoo. Both times, I was the VA rap champion. And so the rap part of me, do I care about awards? I've never have, because I've never competed with my rap music. I've never competed with any of my music. I've never competed. Never. And so when they asked me to do it, I did it reluctantly, and my perspective has changed on competitions now, especially on the rap side, because I feel that's one thing that I know I do well. I may not be the best in the world, but there is no other person in the world, listen, there's no other person on this planet that has ever been the Veterans Affairs rap champion. And I've done it twice. In 2020, someone else will have the opportunity to become the VA rap champion because I can only do it 2 years in a row and I got to take a year off, and then, maybe in 2021, I can compete again. So right now, someone else has the opportunity to become the VA rap champion, right? No one on earth. So other people have Dove Awards, other people have, Grammys and Emmys or whatever, but yours truly, I'm the only one that is the VA rap champion. The reason why I'm happy about this is because it doesn't mean anything. To have an accolade with the military, you get my rack or whatever, it doesn't mean anything to me. It doesn't really mean anything because I'm just trying to fulfill what God wants to do with my life. And so, yay, and whatever. But, yay. Okay? Yay. So that part, I feel very comfortable and confident to say, I'm good at that. Okay? Number 2, I am good. I'm good at broadcasting. Oh my God. This broadcasting stuff, I can't believe how natural it is. I can't believe how with these dumb smartphones, I can't believe how much I've been able to accomplish with these dumb smartphones and just talking to people. Oh my God, I love to talk to people. I love to talk. I love to talk. I love to hear myself talk. I love to hear other people talk. I love to have a conversation. I love to have arguments. I love when people are snapping on me and cursing me out and just listening to it. I love talk radio. I love talk radio so much. I love the talk format. I love the talk format more than I love the music format. I will turn off my music just to hear a sermon or somebody talk about something ridiculous. I sat one time in Denny's in Toma and listened to a dude. I was eating my food, and the guy I could listen to my headphones if I wanted to, or I could just listen to the room. So I just took my headphones off and I was just listening to the room. And this was 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, some dumb time or whatever. And there was a old farmer dude, and he was, yeah. So the cows, one of the things you got to get for the cows, and he talked about that. And then he said, and the pork, with those hogs, you got to watch out for the hogs because the hogs, blah. And I was like, whoa. And he said, yeah, and so then the farm subsidies, they don't help out as much as whatever. All it does is, and I'm listening to this, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so amazing. I want to listen to this. And I was just eating my food, and I was just listening to this old farmer dude talking, and I was in heaven just listening to this dude talk. I just love talking, and I love listening to talk. And so what I've been able to do with my radio shows and my radio content, look at my content and you will find that I'm good at what I do, whatever the heck it is. This broadcasting stuff that I'm doing, I'm good at it. And guess what? I'm not in competition with anybody else on this stuff because nobody else is doing what I feel I'm doing. I'm so grateful to God. My website, m3dots.com, music, sermons, comedy, and podcasts. Those are my areas that I'm bringing out. And when you go through my website, you're going to find a lot of content there. I've been doing this for years, and I'm so enjoying my life. And oh my God, I could stop recording and just put out stuff that I've already recorded because I've been getting 3 and 4 hours a day for years. I got so much content. Oh, I got so much content. And it is so amazing. And I'm so grateful to God. I got content throughout some of my hardest times. I have content that happened during some of my hardest lifetime periods that when I hear it, now I can take it and I can listen to it because I lived it the first time. And now I get to listen to it after I know what happened, when God did. So that's number 2. Number 1, I'm a good rapper. Number 2, I'm a good broadcaster. And 3, I think that I have the ability to make some people laugh. Right? Now, okay, those probably are the 3 things that I'm good at. You could take everything else in the world that I'm supposed to do based on everybody else's expectations, based on my wife's expectations, based on my children's expectations, based on my job's expectations, society's expectations, the Army's expectations. I'm 43. I'm only good at 3 things. And the third thing, my wife questions it. DJ Lowe, his wife, Alina, just this past Friday, you're good at rapping, but I don't think you're funny. Go ahead, right now, make me laugh. Go make me laugh. Right now, make me laugh. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I remember going through this with the rap stuff, with the comedy stuff. Oh my God. Thank you for the opposition. Thank you for not seeing it the way I see it, because all I got to do is look at what I've done on the rap side, and the rap and the comedy. I didn't realize that both of those have been a part of me ever since I was young. I didn't realize it. I focused on the rap side. I focused on one arm. But at the same time, I was working this one too. So I have all this material. But I didn't believe in myself because I doubted. Because I only believed in the rap. But then the rap doesn't work in Toma. But you know what does work in Toma? It's the comedy. Now, and I've done it. I got up in 2019. This year, they said, hey, Matt, why don't you, listen. Go and look this up. All right? Matt Ellipsis, MC. All right? I no longer, because of my rap music, I've learned that I don't need to rap in public for somebody to believe that I'm a rapper. I feel very accomplished as a rapper because the underground or not people that, the things that I've done has made it so that now you could put me on a national stage and I'm going to work it the same way that I worked it when I wasn't on a national stage, because I'm doing it as an expression of the kingdom of God. The thing I learned in 2019 about myself is that I'm an MC. EMCEE or M.C. MC, Master of Ceremonies. I'm an MC. And I thought that an MC was, oh yeah, you got to go to YouTube. I thought that an MC was just a rapper. But an MC can also be the host of something, right? And the comedy part of me, up until today or this season, I've talked about me doing comedy in this specific way. I talked about it as I'm an MC and comedy is underneath the umbrella of MC, the same way that rap is under the umbrella of MC. So that's the way I've been talking about it. That's how I feel. And so the same way that I have to work on making a rap album and work on doing my stage performance where I'm a rapper, I've got to do the same thing as a comedian. So I know how to be a comedian because if I take the mechanics, the regiment of my rap stuff and apply it to my comedy thoughts, and obviously learn from other comedians, because it's different, that I can put myself on a training regimen that enables me to be, if no one's gonna call me a comedian, or if nobody feels I'm a comedian, then at least I'm a funny MC. Or I'm an MC and I'm fulfilling the MC part and I happen to be funny. I'm an MC that's good at rapping, and I'm an MC that does talk radio, and I'm an MC that happens to be funny and can stand up and tell a few jokes once in a while. If I get to that point, I would be grateful to God, because there is something special about the comedian that is better than a rapper, and that's better than a preacher, and that's better than everything else, all right? And I'm going to be doing some content about this throughout 2020, okay? The thing about the comedian is comedy. When I started writing it, jokes for myself, when I started writing in 2010, okay, 2010, 2011, no, I'm sorry. 2000, so 2012, at minimum summertime 2012, at minimum, maybe a little bit earlier than that, but whatever. It never started as, let me create some jokes, like someone. It never was like that. I knew back in 2012 that comedy, and whatever comedy is, that's going to be the best vehicle or best dumpster for the junk, gunk, the horribleness of me, the fears, the deep fears, the deep sinfulness, all the areas that I've been afraid to look at within myself. I believe God gave me the comedy lens and the comedy scooper, the comedy earth mover, to be able to pull this stuff up so I can deal with it. Rap has enabled me to summarize sermons, and rap has enabled me to tell a short story. Okay? Rapper or reporter, I can say something in a line or a couple of lines, but that's not. Whenever I try to make a real, when I try to deal with some of the harder, in-depth stuff of my life, throughout all of my life, all of my rap time, ever since I started rapping for the Lord in 1997, I've tried to go deep into some stuff, and I had not been able to go. It took me being able to laugh at myself in my private time with the Lord. It took me being able to laugh at myself to be able to get down deep in there. Two of the things that in 2020 and in 2021 that I'm going to be doing with my comedy is I'm going to be talking in depth about my infidelity in my marriage, and I'm going to be talking about my fear of white people. Now, that's not the only things I'm going to be talking about, but those two areas, rap is only able to maybe shine a light, but if I'm going to do what I know God wants me to do with regarding my infidelity and regarding my fear of white people, it's going to take comedy to do that. It's going to take that. It's going to take comedy and talk radio. Okay? Because with talk radio, I don't have to try to be coming up with a punchline or whatever to say what I got to say. So right now, all this material that I've got sitting over here, 2020 is enabling me to say, okay, this can be over in this comedy category, and this can be in the talk radio category. Because right now, I'm not cracking a joke. I'm talking. And so some of this stuff needs to be talked out. But some stuff, if I'm going to talk about it, I need to be cracking jokes, or I need to, it's such a weighty topic that it requires me to deal with it delicately or deal with it jokingly. You know what I'm saying? It's just what it, at least for me. So when my wife said, "You're not funny," and when Alina said, "You're not funny," I have to tell y'all a story about Alan Edge. So back in 2001, Alan Edge, a comedian, he lives in Milwaukee right now, if I'm not mistaken. He was doing comedy, and I had the privilege of being his sound man. And at that point, I knew how to record, so because we would do that in church, record the sermons at church. And so I put a CD in and I recorded his comedy. Now, after it was over, he and I, we hadn't seen each other we didn't see each other for a while. And I would pop in that comedy album that I had recorded of his. And I would just listen to it. I think I listened to it over 200 times at least. Okay. I put that in. I put in some sermons sometimes, and then I put that in because I'd be driving. I was a truck driver and stuff like that. Now, what was funny about his, and I know I got a copy of it. He started off his comedy routine. He started off he was doing, I think, a 40-minute show, a 45-minute show. So it could be a taped special, right? He's also an ordained minister, so it could have been a sermon if he wanted to have been a sermon, but it wasn't a sermon. He was doing jokes. And he starts it off, "The kingdom within is out. The kingdom within is out." And he had this rap that he had written, and the rap was horrible from my standards, like as a rapper. Cause you gotta remember, I gotta you want me to pick up my medals off the floor? Okay, I'm just kidding. My rap, but so when I was listening to that, but the words that he was saying, they were getting in my heart because, doggone it, the kingdom within is out. The kingdom within is out, right? He was saying that stuff, and he had a whole bunch of lines, and he was messing up over the lines because he was, that's not his skill. He's not a rapper. So I saw myself helping him and being a rapper to help him out, because he don't need to do that. Let me do that, and you do the comedy part. Because, I felt Alan Edge was funny. So then he goes into his launches and material, and they were there to see him, and it was a light crowd. It wasn't that many people there. And I enjoyed it because I was listening to the material just like I would listen to a sermon, just like I listened to the lyrics in the rap. I was listening to the substance. Forget the people if they laughed or not. I don't care if they laugh. If it's funny to me, I'm laughing. So I listened to it, and I understood his rhythm. Because, again, as a rapper, I listened to blah, 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 blah on the lyrics, right? Beat is cool, but lyrics, Talk radio, he made his point. Substance, sermons. Okay, I can pull this out. Got this substance. So I'm listening to Alan Edge, the substance of his comedy. Oh, I'm like loving it. Now, I let my wife listen to it. This was before we were married. And I remember her multiple times saying, he's not funny. He's not funny. Not funny. Not funny. Not funny. Now, I don't know how long went by, but I run into Alan Edge again, right? And he's got a comedy show right in the neighborhood. And he says, I see him. I said, oh my God, Alan Edge, I love you, sir. Because listen, Alan Edge, he did comedy at my wedding. I can't wait to show you guys. I got the video footage. I love Alan Edge so much. Okay, so I said, I got something for you. So I went back and I pulled out the CD and I said, sir, here you go. This is something that you did on such and such a time, blah, blah, blah. Because by this point, me and my wife were married. So we're coming to the show. Where? So I bring my wife to the show. Now, I'm listening. And Alan Edge was doing some of the same material that was on the CD. Now, bigger audience, okay? And there was it was a comedy context, okay? Right? People were there with the mindset to come laugh, okay? And in the comedy arena, they say Alan Edge killed it. That means he killed. He murdered the room. He had everybody laughing, even my wife. Now, when we left, here's what my wife said. My wife said, Alan Edge got funnier. And I didn't reply out loud. Here's what I said in my head after she said Alan Edge got funnier, or words to that effect. She might not have said that exact words, but that's what she meant. He got funnier. Here's what I thought. I thought to myself, that first of all, that was the same material. But the reason that you think he got better is because you were listening in the correct context. We went to a comedy show, so that's part one. We were at a comedy show, and everybody's laughing, and his jokes were the same jokes that were on the CD in that theater. So it was a comedy context. Number one. Number two, that shows me that people, not just my wife, but people that are not comedians, they are won over by sometimes the effect of the comedy context. Okay? Right? So let me give you an example. There are comedians out there that will say Kevin Hart is not funny. And that's because they are interacting with the material over the laughter / the context that he's in. But people that come to the arenas to see him, they say he's hilarious. And what's the difference? The difference is in that Kevin Hart argument scenario, to me, it was plain when I would look at the videos, and I've seen Kevin Hart's comedy, and then I would look at the videos of people talking, saying that he wasn't funny. It was clear to me that those are two separate points of view, two separate, which is why I like talk radio, because you can analyze this stuff with talk radio. You can analyze it. Because here I am dealing with the Alan Edge thing, and my wife saying he's got funnier. He didn't get funnier. You just put the same man in a different context. And so, Alan Edge and me, in between the time period that he made the first, that comedy CD, and seeing him do his event, there was a time period where me and Alan Edge, we were hanging out, and he taught me something. He taught me a couple of lessons. One of the things he taught me was his philosophy regarding the audience. Okay? So he talked to me about that. And so now, the first thing is, Alan Edge didn't get funnier. They were the same jokes, right? So context matters. Number two, perspective that you're coming. Oh, I messed up my points. Whatever. So let me just get to the third point. Okay. Let me try. Just freaking rewind if I met. Whatever. Anyway. Sometimes audiences suck. And as simple as that. Audience members, people who come to watch stuff, whether they're movies or comedy or whatever, sometimes an audience can suck. And I was so happy that I didn't know that I would eventually do comedy at this particular point. I just knew, here's what I thought. I was with Alan Edge. I thought, let me be your rapper and you be the comedy, and I will open the show and you do your thing. That's what I thought. I didn't know that I was going to eventually be doing this and have all this stuff. Okay? Man. So comedy is positioning me to be able to talk about the darker. If I were gonna say, well, what was the hardest or what was the worst thing that you've done in your life, Matt? I have one of my comedy titles for one of the things I'm gonna be recording. I got material on that I've written, is the 10 dumbest things I've ever done. I don't know if that's gonna be the title when it finally is done, but right now that's the active or working title. The 10 dumbest things I've ever done. And on that list is my infidelity. And when I talk about my infidelity, some of it is going to be in the talk radio format. But some of it is going to be, and some of it I've rapped a little bit about it. I haven't published everything about it, those songs yet, but they're there. They're sitting in the computer, just waiting for the season for me and God to release it. But I'm gonna need to talk about it in the comedy context. I have a one of the, I forgot to write this on here. I have a comedy the first on the third. Okay, here we go. On the third, of January at 7 p.m., I'm going to be doing my first comedy recording. It's going to be called White Country White Women Are Better Than City White Women. Okay? Now, in that recording that I'm going to be making in front of an audience at Kelsey's in Toma, there's a story that I'm going to be telling about meeting and having a sexual relationship with a country white girl out here in this Toma area. And that situation that I was in, that was an infidelity situation. It was before I got married, but it was a cheating on my lady, cheating on my fiance situation. I can tell that story, but that story needs to go into that special or into that recording, comedy recording. It needs to go there, and then I can expound on it on talk radio. And some of the other stories that I have related to my infidelity, I need to place them into my comedy recordings so that I can eventually take all of them and finally, number one, understand the full gravity of everything I've done, infidelity wise, because what infidelity does to a marriage, what infidelity does to the body of Christ, what it does to a family, it's devastating, and it's to the point sometimes that sometimes you just want to walk away, or both parties, that cheated on each other or whatever, they want to walk away and just start over with a clean slate. And my wife and I, we've been married for 14 years, and I love her, and I know she loves me, which is why she sent me the video. And I think this is a good moment to kind of go into that video. All right, so let's take a look at it, because this video that she sent me, when I listened to it the first time, I don't think that everything the person is saying in here applies 100% to me. I don't think, right? But you got to remember, I only do 3 things good. I rap good, I broadcast good, and, I feel I'm funny, right? So the other areas of my life that require me to be good at certain things, I've got to accept that I'm not good at them. I'm not a good husband. What am I going to do? Get divorced because I'm not a good husband? I feel that I'm a good father to my children. I feel I am. But if, let's say I'm not the best father of other fathers. Number one, I'm the only father of my 2 children, right? Those are my only 2 children, only 2. So I'm the best they got. You know what I'm saying? So whatever job that I do, I'm the best father that they have. Okay. So by default, so what I need to do is I need to accept, if this is a rebuke from my wife to me, I need to accept it. And so let's get into it. Let's enjoy this particular gentleman. I don't know his name. I don't know where this came from. All I know is that my wife sent it to me, and so I'm playing it on the show.
Most men have been subconsciously programmed to be weak. You watched your mother struggle your whole life, so subconsciously you think it's okay for your woman to struggle. You seen your mother go without just to make sure you had everything, so subconsciously you think it's okay for your woman to go without while you get everything. You sat in your house and watched your mother clean, so you rather sit in your house and watch your woman clean while you complain, while you don't have no job and she's the only one working. We've been programmed to be weak. We've been programmed not to lead. We want to be led. We've been programmed not to want a wife, but want a woman to provide and take care of us like she's our mothers. We have to get in level. We have to get in tune on each and every level, on each and every aspect, because there's nothing more powerful than you. But you must reprogram your subconscious, or you will pass down these generational curses. Now your sons is treating their women like this, and your daughters is thinking it's okay to provide for a grown man because she's seen daddy be taken care of by her mother. We must get in tune. We must get in tune. Because 95% of our actions come from the subconscious. And it's the first 7 years of our lives. It's what's programming this subconscious. Have you been led to be a man? Have you been raised to be strong? Or have you been broken because you've seen your mother with weak men? Your father was a weak man. Your uncles were weak men. Your grandfathers was weak men. Your brothers is weak men. It's not for a man to gossip. It's not for men to get emotional. It's for men to lead and guide. And if you can't lead and guide, get the hell out the way and allow somebody else to do it. Because if not, you're passing down your same mentality to generation after generation after generation. Don't take it personal to the point it's hurting your feelings. You mad. Why is y'all the male bash? I'm not bashing men. I'm uplifting men and showing my brothers we don't have to be weak. We can be powerful. We should provide for our women. We should take care of our children. This is what men do. But we must first fall in love with self. A man that allows another woman to take care of him don't love himself. And my sisters, you've been programmed to deal with this stuff to the point some of you don't want to deal with men no more. We gotta get in tune. All praises due to the Most High. We must break these chains. What's more powerful than you? Your brothers and God, yada, yada, I mean, peace. Most men have been subconsciously programmed to be weak. You watched your mother struggle your whole life, so subconsciously you think it's okay for your woman to struggle. You seen your mother go without just to make sure you had everything, so
Now, I've got 2 things to say about this, and I'm talking about this is, all right, here's the first thing. I thank God that I live, he lives, my wife lives. I'm so glad that we live in 2020 right now. Okay, right now, today is the 17th of December, 2019, right? 2020 is right here, okay? We live in 2020, right? If we were living in 1920, things would be so different for me and for my wife and for that gentleman, okay? If we lived in 1820, things would be so different for me and my wife and that gentleman. Listen, one of the things that I was writing, and I don't know yet if this is comedy or if this is talk radio, okay? Here's what it is. Here's what I was saying, okay? So here's what I was saying, right? Here's what I wrote out. If my wife and I, we've been married. My wife and I, we've been married for 14 years at this point. Okay. I need to. Let's see. Save image as. Forgive me for a second here. If my wife and I had lived 200 years ago, okay, and let's say we fell in love and got married 200 years ago, 1820, I would have to accept. This is what I would have to accept as a man married to my wife. I would have to accept that anytime the white man master, anytime he wants to go have sex with my wife, I'd have to accept it. 200 years ago, if I wanted to tell my wife, hey, baby, this is the way we're going to do something, not that, we both would have to get a master's permission to do that. 200 years ago. If my wife and I were married in 1920, okay? Let's say we were married in 1920. I don't fully know all the conditions of what the 1920s look like. The thing that I got emotional about when I did my interview with Don Traumer, look up Don Traumer, Matt Ellipsis. Look that up. When he was talking, here's what he did. My father came here in the 1920 blah, and he did this. He started this business, and then he went to this business, and then went to that business, and then did this business, whatever. And now we have, now. This man could talk about his father and the success of his dad starting in 1920, with this business that he started in this area in Oakdale, right? We live in Toma, down the street is Oakdale. In the 1920s, if I was married with my wife in 1920, first of all, me right now, I don't even know who in my lineage, what their name was in 1920. So I know my grandfather's name was Robert, right? And maybe I don't know if he was born in 1920s, whatever. All I know is my father was born in 50s or 60s. So my grandfather would have had to been born, or whatever, in the 1920s or whatever. And here's what happened with Robert Walker, my grandfather, right? I think his mother died or something like that. And he was raised by church women, right? I can talk about my grandfather, but it's not the same. Oh man, this thing. Oh man, I'm talking about this better work, man. Doggone it. Okay. Let me do this right. I'm gonna do this right. Y'all forgive me. I'm working on something here. I think I want to just be able to look at it right. I don't know why I went to the images like that was going to do anything. Perfect. Anyway, so that's 200 years ago and 100 years ago. My wife and I being married is so different from right now. My wife and I being married. Oh my God. There we go. So that's the first thing that I wanted to say about the video is we are in a wonderful time period where American black men and American black women, where we have the ability. My man was walking with his smartphone, talking what he was talking. Thank you, Lord, for these smartphones. Thank you for having it set up so that he and I and my wife could be born in a time period where, doggone it, we can do that. Wherever he came from, however my wife received the video, she was able to send it to me. And I'm able to put it on my show. Thank God for living in 2020. Ugh. That's number one. We are not living in the 1820s. In the second thing that I got to say about this video is I'm grateful to God that his perspective is out there, and that my wife can draw some strength from what he said. And if all those things, if my wife sent that to me as a way to say, Matt, leader, get out the way, stop making it so that I, as the wife, am providing while you lay on the couch and stuff like that. Whatever her intended message to me was, thank you, Lord, for giving me that message. Thank you, Valerie, for sending it to me. I want to take a few moments and read something. Some of you have heard of the Willie Lynch letter, okay? And there's an element in here that I'm going to be talking about because the challenge that I think that my wife and me have in marriage is, and there's probably multiple, but let's go to my perspective, okay? This is what I see as the head of the family, as the leader of my family, as the one who has worked 2 jobs for the entire time of the marriage, minus the time when I quit my jobs in order to, activate this, all the stuff that I told you that at the beginning. In order to get on that road, I needed to quit some stuff so that I can make that happen. And so, and while I was doing that, I met a lot of opposition, right? The thing I think that my wife and I, one of our major challenges is she is the ultimate mother. My wife doesn't need me anymore. My wife is the ultimate mother. She was raised by a single mother who successfully raised her and her sister. And my wife can tell her own story. She can come right down here and I can show her how to do everything. She can tell her own story. She doesn't need me to tell her story. But my wife is the ultimate mother, and I was raised primarily by my father. And so I have some very, very, very strong dad and man ideas that I've been implementing. And if my wife and I weren't black, okay, and if we grew up the same way, we'd have the same problem, okay? It'd be the same thing. If she was white and she grew up with a single mother, and I was white and I grew up with, my dad, and we got together as a couple, we'd have the same problems, right? Not that I would have cheated, white or black, pulling out the cheating part. Just philosophy of the mother, my wife is the ultimate mother, and me with my dad and father ideas that I implement, there's going to be conflict, white or black. Okay? Now, let's add black to it. I read the Willie Lynch letter before I was married. My uncle, he shared it with me. No one else in my life had ever talked about the Willie Lynch letter except for my uncle. My dad, I don't even know if my father and I don't even know if my father knows this exists. I don't know yet. I'm going to find out. But I know it exists. And one of the things that I've done as a dummy, I am so dumb. Okay? I'm so dumb. Let me tell you how dumb I am. I knew this existed before I got married, but I never realized how it applied to me and my marriage I only looked at Bible stuff only. And I tried to only do Bible stuff. And my wife, her opinion, based on text messages and emails, is that I've failed as a husband. And I remember at every stage in my walk during, while I was married, I remember the Willie Lynch letter coming back up to me at different times for me to relook at it, reread it. And in, what year was that? And then one day my pastor brought it up, Pastor Brian. The things he said in about an hour and some change, and I got the video and audio. I'm going to be bringing that to you guys. If you stay tuned to the Matt Ellipsis Show, I'm bringing this to you guys. I'm bringing you that sermon from Pastor Brian. Okay? He talked about the Willie Lynch letter and everything that this gentleman said that my wife sent to me. My pastor said it. And that was the first time in years I heard my pastor talking about some stuff that really got to me. Because I remember my pastor, it was almost every time he would talk, everything got to me. And then it got to the point where he was repeating sermons that I'd already heard because he was dealing with different people. You know, that's what happens when you're running a church. And I was there. So that's why I would videotape and audio record a lot, because I was trying to not to be bored a little bit. And I was so grateful that I had my recorder going, audio and video. Because when we started talking about this, I was shocked. I was like, thank you, Lord. Oh, my God. And so he went into this. Now, I want to show you something. Because right now, I'm not going to go to everything. What I want to specifically read is where I think the problem between my black wife, my African-American wife, and me as a husband, raised by my father predominantly, and my wife raised by her mother predominantly. Dad was in the picture. Okay, thumbs up, Dad. In my life, Mom was in the picture. Thumbs up, Mom. Okay, so both of us had both of our parents. She had both her parents. I had both my parents. All right, I'm not saying that she didn't have, but my wife has had her mother for more time than she had her father. Okay. Same with me on with my father. I've spent more time with my dad than I did with my mother, because of the context, because of the situation. All right. Cardinal principles for making a Negro. Okay. We lay down the following principles for long-range, comprehensive economic planning. Okay? Both horse and niggers is no good to the economy in the wild or natural state. Both must be broken and tied together for orderly production. For orderly future special and particular, now here it is. For orderly future, special and particular attention must be paid to the female and the youngest offspring. Both must be crossbred to produce a variety and division of labor. Both must be taught to respond to a particular new language. Psychological and physical instruction of containment must be created for both. Right now, I want to go. Now, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. I might as well read all of this. Here we go. All right. All principles must be employed for orderly good of the nation. Accordingly, both a wild horse and a wild or nature nigger is dangerous even if captured, for they will have the tendency to seek their customary freedom, and in doing so might kill you in your sleep. You cannot rest. They sleep while you are awake, and are awake while you are asleep. They are dangerous near the family house, and it requires too much labor to watch them away from the house. Above all, you cannot get them to work in this natural state. Hence, both the horse and the nigger must be broken. That is, breaking them from one form of mental life to another. Keep the body, take the mind. In other words, break the will to resist. Now, the breaking process is the same for both the horse and the nigger, only slightly varying in degrees. But as we said before, there is an art in long-range economic planning. You must keep your eye and thoughts on the female and the offspring of the horse and the nigger. A brief discourse in offspring development will shed light on the key to sound economic principles. Pay little attention to the generation of original breaking, but concentrate on future generations. Therefore, if you break the female mother, she will break the offspring in its early years of development, and when the offspring is old enough to work, she will deliver it up to you, for her normal female protective tendencies will have been lost in the original breaking process. For example, blah, 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 whatever. Now, here we go. Let me keep going. Completely. Okay, no, let me keep reading. For example, take the case of the wild stud horse, a female horse and an already infant horse, and compare the breaking process with the two captured nigger males in their natural state. A pregnant nigger woman with her infant offspring. Take the stud horse, break him for limited containment. Completely break the female horse until she becomes very gentle, whereas you or anybody can ride her in her comfort. Breed the mare and the stud until you have the desired offspring. Then you can turn the stud to freedom until you need him again. Train the female horse, whereby she will eat out of your hand, and she will in turn train the infant horse to eat out of your hand also. When it comes to breaking the uncivilized nigger, use the same process, but vary the degree and step up the pressure, so as to do a complete reversal of the mind. Take the meanest and most relentless nigger, strip him of his clothes in front of the remaining male niggers and the female nigger and the nigger infant, tar and feather him, tie each leg to a different horse facing opposite directions, set him afire, and beat both horses to pull him apart in front of the remaining nigger. The next step is to take the bullwhip and beat the remaining nigger male to the point of death in front of the female and the infant. Don't kill him, but put the fear of Big G God in him, for he can be useful for future breeding. Then he goes on the breaking process of the African woman. Now, here's the reason why I bring this up, because this is my second point. My second point about his video is that his words, and if this is my wife admonishing me, I don't think it is. I don't know for sure. Again, she can speak for herself. Those words that the gentleman was saying, they are in the middle of the story. Okay? In other words, that's 2019, 2020 discussion. Thank the Lord for it. We're not in 1920. We're not in 1820. This particular writing, based on the way I understand it, was 1712. Okay? So in 1720, this was in effect. Okay? I look at my son and my daughter, but particularly my son. I have the opportunity to move my son so far ahead of the line, so far forward into the future with what I'm doing with my music and my broadcasting and my comedy. I have the ability now to set my son up so beautifully so that he won't have to say those things to people in his day. That gentleman is speaking to us in our day. My son, the work that I will be doing in the earth, that you will all see in 2020. I'm 43. Okay? I got a bunch of good years. If the Lord grants me the privilege of life, because it's a privilege to live, just like it's a privilege to drive. It's a privilege to have the internet. It's a privilege to have all this computer equipment. While I'm on this earth, going forward. Okay, listen. I am a retired person from the military. I'm a retired Army Master Sergeant. Right? I'm a patriot. I love my country. When I look at what this country has done to black people, I'm not happy about it. But I still served this country for more than 20 years. And I love America just like all of the wonderful white people that I live with here in Toma, and all of the wonderful people across this country. Black people are 15% of the country. Black people make up 15% of the population of America. 15%. 15%. Okay? We are a small group of the country, and we're special. We have a special relationship with America, because though America did that to us, black people, in those days, in 1720, 2020, we may be dealing with some of the effects of what happened in 1720. But doggone it, we're not dealing with the physical, actual situations that they were dealing with. My son does not have to eat out of a master's hand. Not my son. No, he doesn't. Because I don't eat out of a master's hand. And I'm going to tell you something. All the things that I'm bad at, of all the things I'm bad at, guess what? I love myself. I'm grateful to God that he made me me. He gave me my father who didn't train me on a whole bunch of things. I remember my wife saying to me one time, your parents didn't raise you. And she's probably right. Didn't raise me to eat out of the master's hand. My father did not raise me to eat out of the master's hand. My father raised me to pursue my freedom. Let me show you something. You see this? It's called retirement, baby. Freedom. When black people got our, and this is the one for my wife. This is the one for my wife. This is a certificate of appreciation. My wife has been an Army wife. She's dealt with a lot. My wife has dealt with me and my shortcomings as a man. My wife has dealt with me and my shortcomings as a black man. My wife has dealt with me and my shortcomings as an Army man. This may not mean anything to a lot of people. And it may not mean that much to her at this point. But by the end of my, by the end of some of the stuff that I'm doing, this piece of paper is going to mean a lot to my wife. Just like them dumb little medals that I received from the VA that says I'm the whatever. They're dumb and they're brilliant. They are helpful. Okay? Those things mean something to me. And they don't mean something to me too. This means something to me. I'm done with the military. And this is my launch pad to be able to talk about whatever the heck. Because guess what? I served this country. Country don't owe me anything. Right? I owe this country a little bit more service. Because here's the deal. I happen to be black. And one of the things God showed me is the one generation payback. Let me put this back up on. Uh-oh. One of the things God showed me was the one generation payback. Okay? I recorded the summary. Just look up Matt Ellipsis, One Generation Payback, and it's an hour-long video where I give a summary of this thing. Okay? The details, they'll be on my website. Okay? You can get this document, this graphic, go to Matt Ellipsis on Twitter. And then you can pull this down. If you look at these bullet points, you won't even need to listen to me because I know I'm long-winded. But I'm doing talk radio. That's what I do. Okay? I'm long-winded. And guess what? If my long-windedness is too much, get you some patience. Or turn me off. Don't listen to me. But don't get mad if you don't understand me. Don't get mad if you don't understand me. Don't get mad if you don't understand me if you haven't heard me out. Talk format is the long format. Sorry. What I can't say in a song, I can say in talk radio. What I can't say in talk radio, I can say through my comedy, right? So this one generation payback, very important, because all black people in America, the 15% of Americans that happen to be black, that grew up in America and have their origins in this, you must keep your eye and thoughts on the female and the offspring of the horse and the nigger. Therefore, if you break the female mother, if you break the offspring in its early years of development, when the offspring is old enough to work, she will deliver it up to you. %15 of us in America, this is our origin in America. This is how we started our life in America. Right here. This was a philosophy. This was a thought process. Thank God for church. This is what we get into. But the people who... Never mind. White people that benefited from slavery, because it's not all whites have benefited from slavery, but the system of America, okay? The American system, monopoly, the monopoly system, okay? That system benefited from slavery, okay? And so they enjoyed the natural benefits of what they did, okay? Black people didn't get the physical benefits of their labor. When I go to my job, I get a paycheck, so I get the physical benefits of whatever I put into the job, because I live in 2020. Okay? In 1820, I'm not in 1820. I'm in 2020, where I can really utilize freedom of speech. I can really utilize the Second Amendment. I can really utilize the entire Constitution and not just understand it, but I've got to talk about it, because our society needs to understand what's going on in our law. We need to understand the Constitution. We need to understand all this stuff. Because in addition to the Bible, right, we have a country to be a part of. We pay taxes. Why do we pay taxes? We pay taxes for a reason. And when you are a man in a society or in a village or in a town or in a city, you get to vote, right? You get to participate in helping society run. So yes, get off the couch and help your wife do some housework. Yeah. But also, you got some work at the country level that's got to be done. You know what I'm saying? Now, here's the thing. Black Wall Street was a time where a bunch of black people in a town had amassed so much wealth that the white people got jealous and killed a bunch of them. And if I'm not mistaken, that was early 1900s. So now black people were free. And in one generation, they made a bunch of wealth. And that system destroyed a lot of people's lives. And one of the things that I got a problem with Christianity on, that I'm trying to work this out, I'm trying to figure this out. I don't have a problem with God. I got a problem with, how is it that our society has a bunch of churches, bunch of white Jesus faces on the wall, but Black Wall Street happened? How come the Christians of that time period, why didn't they stop the terrorists of that time period from damaging and killing the people in Wall Street? Right now, in 2020, we agree that slavery was messed up. Right? We agree on that. Slavery's messed up. But maybe it wasn't. Maybe slavery wasn't messed up. Maybe slavery was actually a good thing. Maybe it was good. Because when Black Wall Street happened, it was good that they destroyed all the wealth of them black people who were finally in a position to create their own wealth. Maybe it was good. Because church people haven't denounced that stuff. I've never heard any white churches, other than some platitudes. Because listen, in 2020, you got some black people with good jobs. Yeah, you wanted them to be able to give too. And they got to go to church somewhere. Because we've been trained to go to church. But in that day, I don't know if I saw, based on my little studying and reading about this situation, and I don't know everything, where were the church people at that time? I think some of the church people were part of the terrorists. I think. Because right now, here's what happened to me on July 4th, 2018 and July 6th, 2018. White cops beat the crap out of me. I had a couple of black church members that was like, man, we need to do something. I said, don't worry about it. I might mention it once or twice to somebody that's white out here, or church white out here, and they don't know what to do. They don't identify with it. They don't identify as, something that needs to be solved. And it's okay. It's not their scenario. That's something for me to do. I'm a rapper, broadcaster, and comedian. Everything else, I suck at. I got information that when black people get a hold of this, they're going to be happy. Because every black person has the ability to go out and in one generation make wealth for themselves so they can pass it on to their children. Every black person. Get this graphic. Go look at One Generation Payback, the video on YouTube. Look at it. You don't even need to hear from me no more if I'm too long-winded. But that's why I got to do comedy. Here's what I got planned. I start my comedy career. I start my comedy career on 3rd January. And here's some of the titles that I'm gonna read. You've been looking at them or whatever, but I'm gonna read some of the titles. How I Did Radio While the Cops Beat the Crap Out of Me. While they was beating the crap out of me, I grabbed the radio and I narrated my own beatdown. I was on the radio and I was saying, this police officer just punched me in the face. I'm not resisting him, but he's punching me in the face. They're tasing me right now. I'm not resisting them, but they are going overboard right now. I can't believe that they're doing this to me. I narrated my own beatdown. I am made to do broadcasting. Okay? The 10 dumbest things I've ever done. One of the dumbest things I've ever done is cheat on my wife. My wife is probably one of the greatest women on this earth. Okay? I'm a dummy for marrying a woman as good as her and cheating on her. I'm dumb. That's one of the dumbest things I've ever done. The best parts of the Willie Lynch letter. I have to do this in a comedy context because when you read that letter now, right, it's cathartic. It's weird. It's odd. It's cringeworthy, which is why people don't talk about it that much. That's why I'm so glad it's on the internet right now. I'm so glad that I was able to just pull it up. Okay? I'm going to take 2020 and 2021 and we're going into the Willie Lynch letter in depth because ain't nobody else. Only the Muslims have gone into the Willie Lynch letter. What is taking the Christians so long to get into the Willie Lynch letter? I'm going to tell you why. No, I'm not going to tell you why. Who neutered that llama? That's another one. Now, I'm going from the bottom up because I want you to understand that every list doesn't have to be read from top down. Okay? I'm going to be doing stuff that's different. So what? Many people that love me haven't listened to all my music. Many people that love me haven't listened to all my broadcasts. So many people that love me, you may not be able to get into my comedy. But guess what? America has millions and millions of people. Let me see how many millions of people America has. America. How many Americans are in America? Okay. I type in how many Americans are in America, and here's what Google told me. People of European descent or white Americans, also referred to as Caucasian Americans, constitute the majority of the 308 million people living in the United States, with 72.4% of the population. I didn't ask how many white Americans. I asked how many Americans are in America. But ain't that a trip? $308 million Americans. And some of those people want to hear what I got to say. Some of you 308, I'm on my way to you. Okay? Who neutered that llama? I saw a llama get neutered. There is a dude whose job it is to neuter llamas. And living in this country bumpkin area in Monroe County, Wisconsin, I need to talk about some of this stuff I done seen. All right? Another one, the productive mom and dad. Now, the productive mom and dad, that's not going to be the title. But my dad, I'm not going to get into it. That's the title I'm going to work on. Okay? The Matt Ellipsis matchmaking service. That is one of my dumbest ideas that that is coming to fruition. It's a dumb idea. The men's hair competition. It's a dumb idea that's coming to fruition. I figured out why they knew the dilemma. Matt Ellipsis is the chief of all dummies, apparently. You guys are about to find out that my dumbness is shared by so many other people. And so all these different groups of people that share some of the same dumbness that I share, we're going to be getting together and having some fun, celebrating our dumbness, and hopefully gaining some brain cells in the process to make us smarter. The only sex positions that Americans need. I can't wait to talk about that, okay? I can't wait because I've watched so much pornography in my life. And some of that stuff is not to be put into your bedroom, okay? So I have figured out a list of sex positions that I am happy to let you all know these are the only ones that us Americans need. White Americans, black Americans, whatever. If you're an American, there's only these. Okay, we're going to get into that this year. And I figured out why there is so much pornography. And I'm going to start on the 10th of January at the 9 o'clock show. The title of that one is What to Do If Your Wife is a Dummy. I can't wait to talk about all this stuff. Okay. Now, so my road is I started in January and then the season ends in November. I'm going to be doing a 4-day comedy and music and radio and television event. It's going to have several titles, but one of the titles for the comedy part is this will be the greatest comedy event that Toma has ever seen. I can't wait to bring it to you all. If you are in Toma, then you're going to be able to see me on this road because I live in Toma. Toma's my hometown right now. And I'm going to be doing some stuff here in Toma. Kelsey's Bar has helped me out a lot because they're allowing me to do my thing there. The admission, when you go to Kelsey's, and I believe I'm going to do this for the whole year, for the whole season. If you go to Kelsey's to come and see me, it's only $3, but you don't even have to give me the $3. You give the $3 to the bar, and they're going to give me 3 sarsaparilla root beers, okay? So that's what I love to drink when I go to Kelsey's. They're the only ones, as far as I know, in Toma that has sarsaparilla root beer. So sarsaparilla root beer, I think, is the best root beer that I've ever tasted. And so that's all I want out of this thing. I just want my recordings, my videos, and sarsaparilla root beer. And I'm going to tell y'all what to do if your wife is a dummy. I'm going to tell y'all, I'm going to tell you about the only sex positions that Americans need. I can't wait to talk about this stuff for y'all, because Toma has been wonderful to me. Toma has been a blessing and wonderful to my family. These wonderful white people out here, they have treated my wife and I so good. Okay? And so my way to give back to Toma is to do radio for 5 years out here and to give y'all a season of inexpensive but high quality comedy content. Listen, but because my wife told me that I'm not funny, and my DJ's wife told me that I'm not funny, I have to go ahead and assume that maybe they're right. Maybe they're right. Maybe I'm not funny, right? So you get a chance to see me bomb in public. at Kelsey's whenever I go to do a performance, okay? And or you can see me do well, which I think I'm gonna do well. But here's the thing: I'm not going there acting like I am the comedy genius, because guess what? I'm a rapper, so I have a fail-safe. So if anything don't go over, all I do is bust out a song and leave the stage, okay? So I have everything planned. I got my exit strategy. Listen, y'all, thank you very much for joining me for this episode of the Matt Ellipsis Show. I said I wasn't going to upload this to YouTube, but I think I'm going to upload it to, I said I wasn't going to upload it to Facebook, but I think I'm going to upload it to Facebook. Because this is it. I'm finna do the comedy thing. My rap career is happening. Let me see what other videos, what other commercials do I have here? Oh, okay. So I got a whole, okay, listen. Here's the deal. 608 Live, I can't do everything there. So skip that part of this flyer. Throughout 2020, I'm going to be doing variety nights, comedy nights, open mic nights, farmer night, farmer appreciation night, tattoo appreciation night, love story night. I'm going to be talking to some Democrats, right? I'm going to be talking to some Republicans. Yo, this is an election year. 2020 is an election year, baby. So let's talk to some Republicans and Democrats and let's find out what it's looking like. Okay? We're going to talk to some candidates and get them on the shows. Okay? Veterans War Story Night, Belief System Night, Lip Sync Battles, Men's Hair Competition, Battle of the Bands, Military Story Night, Hunters. I'm going to let y'all come. Don't bring your gun to the show. Bring your pictures of your gun to the show and bring your kills to the show. One of the funniest things about hunters that I've noticed out here in Toma is when they start talking about their guns, they lick their teeth in the process. They be, so what'd you do? What'd you do over the weekend? Boy, I hunted and I said, talk on it. Even the women do that. Anyway, the retirement roast of Reggie Robinson, I am going to roast that man before he retires, okay? The matchmaker, okay, my matchmaker service, I'm not going to do matchmaker night. I'm doing a matchmaker service, okay? Now, marriage dispute, night court. Listen, marriage dispute, night court. Can't wait to show y'all marriage dispute, night court. That's going to be so much fun. And I got other stuff, okay? I'm going to be doing this stuff in Toma because at 608 Live, I'm going to tell you something. I think 608 Live, that bar, it's not set up to do all this stuff. But Toma is. Thank you, Toma, for being so wonderful. You guys are set up to handle, what I got coming. Thank you, Toma. All right, let's see what else I got. On the 17th of January, okay? 17th of January at 608 Live, I'm doing Kirk Franklin versus Motown. We'll be listening to Motown, and we're going to be listening to Kirk Franklin music, and we're just going to enjoy it. And I believe that that's where I'm going to have, that's where some of the 15% of the country going to be hanging out, okay? I'm also doing it on another day, too, that same week in Toma. So we'll talk about that later. Let me see what else. Okay. Look on YouTube, Google Saint Ellipsis. Saint Ellipsis spreads goodwill, tells good stories, and gives away cranberries. Let me tell you about Saint Ellipsis really quick. He is a character that my son and I came up with because they don't believe in Santa Claus. And my wife and I never trained them to believe in Santa Claus. Saint Ellipsis is real. That's me, and it's the family business. I'm giving my son and I think he calls himself Junior Ellipsis. That's what he calls himself. So you got Saint Ellipsis and Ellipsis Junior, or Junior Ellipsis, whatever he wrote down. Where's the note? Okay, I think I got it right here. Hold on. Let me see what he put. Yeah, Saint Ellipsis and Junior Ellipsis. That's what my son So we're gonna have some fun. And Santa Claus is not he is not welcome in the schools, but St. Ellipsis is. Let me see. Is that it? Oh. Okay, I think I got one more. Oh yeah, and the One Generation Payback. Now, thank you very much. I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for hearing me out. I think I am gonna put this on. Do I want to put this on Facebook? I really don't. You know what? I'm not putting it on Facebook. I'm putting this as a YouTube video, and I'm sending it to certain people. Boom. That's how I got to do this one. All right. Thank you very much for participating in the Matt Ellipsis Show. You are now listening to nm3dots.com. Free download. Thank you for your support. You are now listening to nm3dots.com. Free download. Thank you for your support. This is not a secret, tight hole, like no spiteful, lack of insightful, not no rival, society, hold no eye, it's irony, cattle on 1,000, my propriety, more than the zeitgeist, hands down decidedly, the king of Babylon, 8 pine, then no pine of me, some of the council said finally, I'm patient, think refinery, think about the peace, be still, voice, real choice, third seal, big reveal it all, lay hands, heal them all, cast the net, get them all, highways, byways, meet them all, banquet, invite, met them all, set them all, down, break bread, ass, if it was the last, I just makes you crash, but let's not let this moment pass, because when you grasp it, you'll remember, when you do this, please, don't do it in the frivolous ambivalence as traditionally. See what I mean? Do this in remembrance, please remember me. Please, oh please, don't do it in the frivolous ambivalence as traditionally. See what I mean? Do this in remembrance, please. In the era of the first dot, I faced all my fears. Second dot era, time to manifest.